So today we are doing a deep dive into a phrase I know you've all heard.
Oh, definitely. Everyone has.
Yeah, it's play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
The ultimate internet catchphrase.
Right. It's the top comment on literally every viral video where some guy tries to, jump a golf cart over a bonfire and
And sets his pants on fire. Surprise, surprise.
exactly. It's just the internet's favorite way of saying, "Oh, obvious."
It's the universal caption for inevitable disaster, really.
It is, but honestly, I have always kind of hated it.
Really? Why is that?
It just feels so, I don't know, smug. It's really dismissive. Like it's usually kicked around when someone is already down and it has this massive air of superiority to it.
Yeah, I get that.
It's basically just a snarky way of saying, I told you so, without having to actually help the person. So when I saw the source material we were using for this deep dive, I was a little skeptical. I thought we were just going to be roasting people for 15 minutes.
Which would be fun. But yeah, I completely understand where you're coming from. In the wild, on Twitter or Reddit, it is absolutely used as a bludgeon. It's mean-spirited.
Very.
But, and this is exactly why we're doing this deep dive, if you strip away the snark and all the internet culture, the actual mechanics of that phrase are incredibly fascinating.
Mechanics. That is a very engineering word for a meme.
I know, but that is what it is. It's not just an insult. The sources we have today treat it as a statement on the physics of human behavior.
Okay, the physics of behavior.
Right. It's arguably one of the most philosophically precise descriptions of cause and effect we have. The material we're looking at today argues that play stupid games, win stupid prizes isn't about karma, and it's definitely not about luck.
So what is it about?
It's a predictable input-output system, strict cause and effect.
Okay, so we're moving from internet dunk to a literal philosophical principle. I'm listening. But I have to ask, because usually when people say this, they are heavily implying that the person involved is, well, stupid. Low IQ. Is that the premise of our sources here? That smart people are safe and dumb people get the bad prizes?
Not at all. And I'm glad you brought that up because that is the first big misconception we have to clear up for everyone. The stupid in the phrase doesn't refer to the player.
It doesn't.
No, it refers to the game itself.
Yeah.
You can be a literal genius. You could be a CEO, a PhD candidate, and still play stupid games all day long.
Huh.
In fact, the research points out that high intelligence people are sometimes actually better at playing stupid games because they have the mental capacity to rationalize them better.
Oh, wow. That makes a lot of sense, actually. I mean, I know plenty of brilliant people who have absolute train wrecks for personal lives.
Exactly. We all do.
Yeah.
So in this context, a stupid game is not about intelligence. It's about predictability.
Predictability.
Yes. A stupid game is defined as a specific set of behaviors where a negative outcome is mathematically baked into the action. It's an activity where the prize, the disaster, right, is the logical, inevitable conclusion of the rules you just agreed to play by.
Okay, let's get concrete with this, though, because saying bad choices is a little vague. The source material highlights some very specific categories of these games, and I'll be honest, looking at the list, I realized I might be playing a few of these myself, which is, well, it's uncomfortable.
It's always uncomfortable when you see your own patterns on a list. Which category stood out to you the most?
Well, the big one for me is dishonesty, and I don't mean like criminal fraud.
Right, not embezzling millions?
No, just the little stuff, the white lie to get out of a weekend commitment or maybe fudging the details to look a little better in a morning meeting. We normally just think of those harmless shortcuts, but the argument here is that dishonesty is a stupid game because of the contract you're signing.
Right. Think about the actual mechanics of a lie. When you tell the truth, you don't have to remember anything.
Right.
Reality just does the heavy lifting for you. But when you lie, you have to construct a totally false reality. And then, and this is the hard part, you have to maintain it.
You have to remember who knows what.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Which version of the story you told to whom. You are spending immense cognitive energy just to keep the server running on that fake reality.
And the prize isn't necessarily getting caught.
No, not at all. Getting caught is just one possible prize. The guaranteed prize is the erosion of trust and the sheer exhaustion of maintenance.
Yeah.
Because even if you aren't completely caught, people sense the incoherence. They just stop trusting you implicitly. So you've played the game a shortcut. But the prize you win is everything becomes harder because no one believes me.
Man, that's entirely accurate. And that leads right into another category on the list, which I found really interesting. Cruelty disguised as humor.
Ah, yes. The classic Schrodinger's douchebag maneuver.
Exactly. The person who makes a terrible cutting remark to you and then basically decides if they were joking based on whether you get mad or not.
Can't you take a joke? Is basically the tagline for that game.
Right, and usually we just think of that person as a jerk, but why is it a stupid game? Like, functionally speaking.
Because it violates the basic laws of human connection.
Mm-hmm.
If your goal is to have a functional relationship with someone, a colleague, a partner, a friend, and you use cruelty as a bonding mechanism, you are using the wrong tool.
Yeah.
It's like trying to hammer a nail with a banana. It's not just mean, it's mechanically unsound. The prize for that game is isolation. You are guaranteeing that people will put up permanent walls against you.
And yet the person playing that game is usually the one claiming to be the victim. Like, oh, everyone is so sensitive these days.
Precisely. And that brings us to the very core of why the text calls these games. When you engage in manipulation or ego-driven competition or those integrity shortcuts we talked about, you aren't just doing a random thing. You are entering a contract. You're pulling a lever that has a very specific gear attached to it.
So let's talk about the output of that machine, the prize.
A prize.
Because usually we use the word prize for something good, or at least something random, like a lottery. Maybe I'll win, maybe I won't. But the argument in our deep dive today is that the prize is not random at all.
It's strictly logical. This is the if-then portion of the analysis. The material really stresses this point. The prize is just the physical reaction to your action.
Give me an example.
Okay, for example, if you play the game of testing limits, say, pushing a boundary with your partner, just to see how much they will take the prize. Resistance.
Or a breakup.
Eventually, yes. But the immediate prize is that you teach them you are unsafe. Here's another one. If you play the game of ignoring red flags, which, honestly, we all do, the prize isn't that the problem magically goes away. The prize is escalation.
Oh, man, that's the one that gets me. Ignoring red flags. We see a problem, right? Maybe a weird financial discrepancy at work or a completely weird vibe on a first date, and we just think, I'll just pretend that's not there.
Yeah.
We treat it like if we don't look at the monster, it can't see us.
Right. We play the game of willful blindness. But the mechanics of reality do not care if you're looking or not. The prize for ignoring a red flag is almost always that you have to deal with the exact same problem later, but now it's 10 times bigger and completely on fire.
So if the outcome is so totally predictable, if A always leads to B, why are we always so shocked when B actually happens? Because that's the other part of the meme, right? The person in the video is always stunned. The guy who jumps the motorcycle is always shocked that he crashed. The person who lies is shocked they got fired.
That is what the source calls the illusion of surprise. And I think this is actually the most compassionate part of the analysis.
How so?
Well, it explains why we feel like victims in our own lives. When you were playing the game, you were operating on hope. You were operating on this little story you tell yourself, like, I'm special, or I can handle this, or just this one time it'll be fine.
Pure main character energy.
Totally. You think you have plot armor. But the audience, or reality, in this case, is operating on pure logic. So when the prize arrives, the player feels ambushed. How could this happen to me? But to everyone else, it's been glaringly obvious since Act 1.
It's like watching a horror movie where the character walks down into the dark basement alone. Everyone in the theater is screaming, "Don't go in there!"
Yes.
The character goes in, gets attacked, and is completely surprised. But we aren't surprised. We saw the contract they signed when they opened the door.
Exactly. The phrase, play stupid games, win stupid prizes, is harsh because it shatters that illusion. It strips away the surprise. It basically says to you, you didn't get unlucky, you just got the result.
That is a really hard pill to swallow. I mean, it feels way safer to just believe in bad luck.
It does. It absolutely does. But believing in bad luck when you're actually dealing with cause and effect is incredibly disempowering.
Yeah.
If it's luck, you can't fix it. You're just a leaf in the wind. But if it's a game you're actively playing, you could just stop playing.
Okay, but this brings up the massive psychological question from the text. If the stove is hot and we know it burns, why do we keep touching it? Why do we play games that we know intellectually have terrible outcomes?
The psychology here is really rich. The research points to a few major drivers. One of the biggest is overestimating control. This is the I can fix him or the I can beat the stock market mindset. We see the risk, but we think our personal competence overrides that risk.
That is the ultimate hold my beer instinct.
It really is. It's like saying physics applies to you guys, but watch this. It's pure arrogance. Another big driver is chasing ego validation. This is a huge one, especially in the workplace.
Oh, for sure. The I need to win this pointless argument game.
Right. You're sitting in a meeting. You know that fighting over this minor, irrelevant point is going to alienate your boss and stall the whole project. You know the prize is friction, but your ego just needs that hit of being right. You prioritize the short-term high of winning over the long-term stability of your career.
That distinction between short-term and long-term seems really crucial here. It feels like almost every stupid game is essentially a buy now, pay later scheme.
That is a perfect way to put it. You are buying a moment of feeling superior, or a moment of relief from telling a lie, or just a quick thrill of risk. But you are paying for it with compounded interest later on.
So we've diagnosed the illness pretty thoroughly. We're addicted to short-term hits, we think we have plot armor, and we're signing contracts with reality that we absolutely cannot afford. It's a little depressing. How do we actually stop? The material talks about a concept called coherent living.
Yes, coherent living. It sounds a bit abstract at first, but it's actually very practical. It is the direct antidote to this stupid game.
What does that look like in practice? Because be coherent sounds like something a yoga instructor would yell at me while I'm falling over.
It's much simpler than that. Coherence just means your inputs match your desired outputs. That's it. It's about alignment. If you want a life full of drama and chaos, then lying and cheating are actually coherent actions. They will get you to your goal. But if you say you want peace, stability, and trust,
Then lying is incoherent.
exactly, it creates massive friction between what you want and what you do. The first step to coherent living is just admitting what you actually want.
Which the source calls clarity of intention.
Right. Stop sleepwalking through your choices. Ask yourself, what is the actual goal here? If the goal is a happy marriage, does making that snarky, passive-aggressive comment help or hurt that goal? If it hurts it and you do it anyway, you are playing a stupid game. You are sabotaging your own stated intent.
The source material gives some really specific, almost hard rules for this. One of them that I absolutely loved was, don't negotiate with obvious dysfunction.
Well, that is a lifesaver of a rule.
But it's hard because we all want to be reasonable people. We think if we just sit down and explain ourselves one more time, the dysfunction will suddenly make sense.
And that is the trap. That is the game right there. The game is, if I try hard enough, I can make this fundamentally unreasonable person reasonable. You can't. When you negotiate with dysfunction, whether it's a toxic family member, a bad boss, or a corrupt system, you are validating their rules. You're stepping onto their game board.
So what's the actual move there?
You don't play. You set a firm boundary and you disengage. The only winning move with dysfunction is non-participation.
That makes a lot of sense. Another rule that stood out was, don't provoke what you are unwilling to face.
Yes, this is all about calculating costs. We so often write checks our reality can't cash. We threaten to quit a job we desperately need. We issue an ultimatum to a partner that we aren't actually ready to follow through on.
We bluff.
We bluff.
Yeah.
And reality calls the bluff. That's the price. If you aren't willing to face the fallout, the poverty, the breakup, the massive fight, then don't provoke the situation. It's about having a completely realistic assessment of your own capacity.
This all rolls up into what the material calls mature strategy. And I think this was the real aha moment for me. Because usually when we talk about doing the right thing, integrity, honesty, patience, we frame it as a moral duty. We do it because we're good people.
Right. It feels like a chore, like eating your vegetables.
Exactly. But the argument here flips that completely. It says, don't be honest because it's good. Be honest because it's efficient.
Yes. This is the strategist's view of ethics. Integrity is an efficiency strategy. Think about the cognitive energy we talked about earlier, the energy required to maintain a lie or manage a complex manipulation. It is exhausting.
Yeah.
Integrity simply eliminates that workload.
It eliminates the variables.
Exactly. When you are honest, reliable, and consistent, you remove the chaos variables from your life. You don't have to look over your shoulder. You don't have to constantly manage people's perceptions of you. You just are.
Yeah.
It frees up massive amounts of mental bandwidth.
So the mature strategy mindset isn't asking, what can I get away with? It's asking, what outcome do I want? And what is the absolute most direct path to it?
And usually, the most direct path is the one with the fewest games. It's the straight line.
I really love that. It takes the whole morality play out of it and just makes it about logic. If you want stability, play the stability game. If you want chaos, play the chaos game.
Play stability, win stability. Play chaos, win chaos. It's not flashy. It doesn't get you internet points. You definitely won't go viral for being a reliable, honest person. But You also won't wake up one day finding your life in flames because of a prize you forgot you ordered.
It reminds me of that final concept from the source, ownership. The phrase, play stupid games, win stupid prizes, is usually an accusation, right? You did this to yourself. But if we flip the perspective, it's actually incredibly empowering.
It really is. Because if the bad outcomes are my fault, then the good outcomes can be my fault too.
Right. If I own the cause, I completely own the effect.
That's it. You stop being a passenger in your own life. You stop being the victim of bad luck or crazy exes or toxic bosses. You start looking at your own inputs. You realize that you are the one holding the ticket. And if you don't like the prize printed on the ticket, you can just drop it.
You don't have to cash it in.
You don't have to play.
I think that is the perfect takeaway. We all have a few of those tickets in our pockets right now. Maybe it's a text we're about to send out of anger or a corner we're about to cut at work. And the move isn't to beat ourselves up over it. It's just to look at the ticket, see the guaranteed prize, and decide if we really want to pay for it.
And if you don't, change the input.
Simple as that. Well, maybe not simple, but perfectly clear. And clarity is definitely what we're after. Thanks for unpacking this with me. It turned out to be a lot deeper than a Reddit thread.
It usually is if you look hard enough at the mechanics.
So for everyone listening, here is a final thought to leave you with. Think about the frustrations in your life right now. What if the chaos isn't just happening to you? What if it's actually just a collection of prizes you forgot you registered for? Check your pockets for those tickets. We'll see you in the next deep dive. Take care.